Hello, and I'm so excited to officially be in here in the seventh level studio. And welcome to all the women that have been seeing this incredible journey. Like, I'm just like so incredibly grateful for you for showing up for yourself every single day. I feel like so many times we don't take the time to acknowledge who we are. And this is your moment, babe. Acknowledge you, acknowledge your growth, how far you've come. I want sales to be super easy for you. I want it to feel like in alignment. I want it to feel in flow. I want you to feel comfortable while you're doing it. And if we were going to think about prospects closing themselves, isn't that like an interesting concept? What if you didn't have to push and you didn't have to try so hard because the prospect naturally had the safe space, the ability to close themselves if they wanted to, right? So as we go into this today, I'm seeing, if you have any questions or drop below, please make sure you go ahead and like this hashtag live in the comments so that more and more people can see it. And I'm going to go ahead and try to pin this to the top. So if you're asking me what I'm doing, that's what I'm going to do. Because today is the first day that they're making me do this, and I'm really, really excited. So, boom. There we go. Look, as a woman, I know what it's like to be really, really uncomfortable in a sale. Like, I don't know if anyone else has ever been able to experience that. You're in a sale and all of a sudden you feel like you're pushing this person to say yes. And you're in this like weird state because you want to make the sale normally because you're trying to take care of your family or because you're trying to support someone, try to bring in cash flow so that you can, feel like safe in a way, right? um, and at the same time you don't want to make this person feel uncomfortable, and so then you're somehow out of alignment with the sales process if you don't have the tools and you haven't acquired the skills that actually will help you close the deal in a way that will be more serving to you. So I feel like if we're going to talk about how to lead a sales call so that a person could feel like they could close themselves, we have to remove something really, really simple, which is product pushing. And I know that maybe, just maybe, you have possibly experienced some type of sales training where they told you to push the product, or maybe you do a presentation and you're telling everybody how amazing your product is, how amazing that it's going to help them, that you know it, and you're talking all about the product, and the service that you're doing, and oh my God, it's the best, blah blah blah. And here's the problem: most salespeople have been taught like that. And so, if you have so many different salespeople telling you that their thing is the best, all of a sudden there's like a sense of a lack of trust that you can have for the person in front of you. And we want to remove that. I want to remove it to where anyone that is talking to you doesn't feel like you're trying to close them into something, or doesn't feel like you are acting out of authenticity. I want them to feel super safe with you. I want you to feel super safe having the conversation. So I'm going to give you a few tips that you can do today in order for the prospect to be able to feel safe, in order for them to feel like connected to you, so that they can be vulnerable and tell you what the real problem is so that you can close it. Hey guys, what's up? So the very first thing that, I want us to walk through is giving a couple of examples of like some questions that we could possibly ask to connect at the very beginning of a call in order for somebody to feel like you're there for them and not necessarily there for you. So at the beginning of every sales call, and this is going to be specifically for more B2C versus B2B. I tried this tactic and I highly recommend it. And then I'll give you some tactics for B2B as well. So for a B2C customer, this person is a human. Thank you. Appreciate you. This person is a human in front of you, right? Which means one thing, that they've been through some shit. Okay. Honestly, like this person in front of you has walked, several miles and their shoes, and they've been through something. They've had up days, they've had down days, and they've been through some stuff. And so wouldn't it be amazing if this person could feel seen by you? Us as ladies have the really amazing ability of making somebody feel seen by giving them our presence, by giving them our attention. And so at the very beginning of a sales conversation, if you start off the call by first not going, "Oh, hello, how are you? Oh my God, how's the weather? Oh my God, do you have a dog? Me too. His name is Ralph. Oh my God, we're friends because we both have dogs. And oh my God, I'm building rapport." Yeah, no, none of that. I want to connect with them by, first of all, letting them know that I am on their side and that I see them. So if it's a B2C person, I always go ahead and get my phone out like 5 minutes before a sales call and I look them up. Now, you ladies definitely have the ability to be private investigators. I know it. You know it. We all know it. At one point, you could have been hired by the FBI. You could have found anything. You know it. I know it. And so we're going to use that skill here when it comes to getting on a sales call with somebody, because we can look up this person. And I want you to look them up and I want you to see them as the human that they are. See them for their strength. I want you to look at them like, who is this person? How can I honor them? What I see about them? What's their character like? Right? Maybe they're posting a lot about their kids. We're like, oh wow, they're a good parent. Maybe they're talking about the environment. Oh, they love the environment. Maybe they're, just being consistent, posting online about their job or their company. Oh, they have consistency. Like, I'm trying to find something that I can see them for and honor them for, so that when I get on the call, I could say, like, "Hey, Sally, I took a few minutes before this and I was looking at your Instagram and I saw that you posted your son's artwork this past week and how you're so proud of him. And I, have a 10-year-old daughter myself. And I know that sometimes you don't get seen as a mom. I just want to tell you that you're doing a really good job. Like, I see you." Oh my gosh, like the entirety of my whole sales conversation is completely different. And I want to ask a connecting question in order for them to feel like I care about them and that I'm on the same side, which you can use in B2B as well. So, what you're going to say is like, "Hey, Sally, if you were to get anything out of this call today, what do you think that would be? Just so I have better understanding of how I can support you." And I feel like that just kind of takes some of the pressure off of you, takes the pressure off of them. Like, you're here to support them, not really here to sell them. You're using a tonality that is soft, that's nurturing, almost like motherly, and making them feel good and making them feel like safe in this conversation. So, again, "Hey, Sally, if you were to get anything out of this call today, what do you think that would be? Just so I have better understanding of how I can support you." Right? And what I find when I say it, and when I say it like that, and when I use pausing, and when I drop my tone, and when I'm looking at this masterpiece in front of me, and I'm seeing them as a human, as somebody that's been through experiences, and I'm focusing out like that, I'm caring about them. I took the time to care about them, to see them, to acknowledge them, to see the greatness in them. The dynamic of my sales call has completely changed because they are allowed to drop into a safety net. It allows them to feel safe. It allows them to feel good. Now, let's say I'm talking about a B2B sale. Okay. I would take the time to research the company and try to see if they've had any acclimates lately, any accomplishments, or if anybody has written about them, if they had any employees say something great about them on LinkedIn. Like, I would try to go look up that information and still bring it through. Like, "Hey, like, I just noticed that you received this and this award. I just really want to acknowledge you guys. Like, there's so many companies that work for years and never get anything like that. Like, I really see you." Before you go into straight into what they're doing, or, "Hey, I seen that you've been working really hard with this company. Like, I see you." And the reason why I want to do that is because I feel like so many people don't get to experience being acknowledged by somebody. And you have no idea what somebody's going through. They could be having the worst day ever. They could have had their husband hasn't talked to them in 2 weeks and they feel sad, and their kids are like all over the place and they don't know what's going on. And you just took the time to see them and say that they're special and that you honor them. And when you do that in a way that has based with integrity because you actually care, they can feel it. Now, if you're just trying to say some nice things like, "Oh my God, Martha, I really like your shoes. They're so great. Your hair is awesome." Like, and it's super surface level. The sad thing about that is that it feels surface level and it feels like you really don't care at all. I want to make sure I remove that, right? Now, I did have a situation, in my personal life where I was trained in the old school way of selling, meaning, what's up, Peter? Meaning that I had a entire deck of flashcards. Dun, dun, dun. And I also had this sheet of paper that 3 different columns on it. And on the left side was objections that the person could possibly give me. And the middle side was like, you know, um, an answer that I could possibly give. And then there was like 3 or 4 answers that I could give. And I had this as like this backup plan. Okay. And so in the middle of the sale, I would go in there and then I get to the end where I've started to feel like I was pushing this person to make a decision. And then they would tell me their objection, right? Does anybody ever have that? Somebody tells you an objection, you're like, oh God, like, oh, what do I do? And it feels really uncomfortable and you look constipated. Yeah, definitely been there before. So in that moment, I would look at the piece of paper and I would like stare at them, pretend like I'm not looking down at the piece of paper and look at them like, oh, okay, and like trying to read it over. And I'm like, okay, this objection, this is what I'm supposed to say. And I would turn back to the camera. I would overcome the objection, right? A smile with a sense of almost ego. This is very interesting because ego cannot exist in sales, right? Your ego has to die in sales. The sales is about serving. It's a humility thing. It's about honoring. It's about trying to find this person's problem, helping them solve it if they are willing to change and want to. And when it comes to trying to say the right thing, try to do the right thing, say the right thing with the right way, and blah blah blah. You get into this false level of perfectionism and this ego thing that comes. And have you ever been in a conversation where somebody that has a big head, like, haven't you noticed that you can, like, you're like, this person's really arrogant or this person is like full of it? You can feel that, right? You can absolutely feel that. And so I just want to give you a subtlety right now because the whole point of this is having a prospect be able to close themselves. So you having the flashcards and you having the right thing to say at the right time, and it's you're a robot at that point, isn't enough. You saying just the right thing at the right time or whatever, like it's not enough because sales are made through emotion, not logic. And somebody needs to feel emotionally connected to the pain that they're going through and the future that they want to create, so much so that it creates a large enough gap in order for them to want to change today. That is how a prospect is going to close themselves, not about you saying the right thing at the right time and being able to, like, act like a robot almost in order for you to get the sale done. I need you to also have the understanding that if you can get emotionally connected to their pain and their future, they have more permission to be able to. You lead. You are creating a safe space in order for them to feel safe enough to where they can drop into vulnerability and drop into the possibilities in their life. Right? So, I know I only have, okay, perfect. I'm halfway through. Perfect. Almost like, I get scared. I always like to overshare. So, in a sales conversation, in the beginning, we have to make sure we are creating a safe space. If you do not do this, your entirety of the sales conversation is at jeopardy. It's a possibility of ruining. It has red flags, right? Because the person, when they first get on a call with you, you have about 3 to 7 seconds to make a great impression. And you want to come off as caring. You want to come off as knowledgeable and sharp. You want to make this person feel like you're there for them and not for you. And you're going to be able to showcase that through your tonality, through your body language, through your questioning, through your ability to see them. I promise you, if they feel seen the first 3 to 5 seconds, they're going to be more comfortable throughout the call. The more comfortable they are, the less sales resistance they have. The more they feel connected to you, the less sales resistance they have. The more they start questioning your authenticity, the more they start questioning who you are and your trust, questioning why you're asking a certain thing, questioning you because of your harsh tonality and you're trying to speed through the script, or they think that you're caring about yourself, not them, the more objections they're going to have at the end, the less likely they are to persuade themselves to close. So that's the first aspect, really understanding the beginning and understanding that it's not just about what to say, but it's like how you're saying it. It's the emotional aspect of this entire call. The second aspect of getting a prospect to persuade themselves is you need to have the right tools to understand how to actually problem find. You have to problem find. You have to find the real problem. And I promise you that the problem that this person's going to tell you that they have is not actually the real problem that would cause them to make a shift in their life today or shift in their business today. It's a problem underneath that problem, underneath that problem, underneath that problem. And you will not be able to find that unless you have advanced questioning skills, unless you know how to hold space for this person as you're asking these questions, unless you're using your intuition that you naturally have to try to see their facial smirks and see when they're allowing themselves to drop in or when there might be a little bit more, when there's something else that they're not telling you. And you as a woman have this really amazing natural gift. And when it's trained in sales, you're going to be unstoppable. As a woman, as a mom, I can tell when my daughter's not telling me everything. I can tell if, my man, something's going on with him. Like I can tell, right? We have this like sixth sense about us. We're like, something is off. Are you with me? Right? Something is off. I need to figure out what that is. And we have this sense of curiosity because we try to listen in order to understand. So you already have this ability naturally. And when you can apply it in a sales process to be inquisitive enough and ask the right questions to go underneath the surface, well, then this person has a realization because subconsciously you brought it up that they're like, oh my gosh, this is way bigger than I possibly understood that it was. And now when they have this awareness of a problem, it has like a deepening effect. They're like, oh my gosh, this is a real issue here. When you start bringing up how long it's been there and who else it's affecting and you know what internally it's messing up, how it's messing up with them personally at work, who else it's also affecting, but and more than just like kids and family, but it's just like, is it affecting like the future opportunities? Is it affecting their ability to perform? Like whatever is coming up for them, there's like 7 or 8 layers per each issue. And I normally find about 4 to 5 issues in each call, at least. And each one of those have about 8 layers. And so if you don't know how to have the advanced questioning skills to go in deep like that, it's really hard for this person to be a one call close. And guess what? Like, I want you to have this skill because you have a life to live. And as much as people say, oh, it's a numbers game, I want it to be a quality game for you. If you have the ability to deep question like this and get somebody to close on the first time, you won't have to spend so much time on follow up. You won't have to spend so much time on, trying to overcompensate for your lack of skill by doing more and obtaining less. When you can one call close because of your ability to deep question. Your ability to deep question allows this person to really feel like they need to change a day and they start closing themselves. They're like, oh, I need to make a change. Oh, this is a horrible thing. Oh my God, this is bad. And the last caveat to this is understanding like a future aspect. When you go deep into problem finding, you are creating a gap intentionally. I'm trying to get a problem finding when they come to me, they're here. When I start problem finding, I want them to go here. So there's a drop in what they see of the problems in their life. And then when I start asking them about, like the future situations that they want, and I start asking them about the vision that they have for their life or the vision that they have for their company, and I start purposely like asking questions that allow them to see more and more and more, I start creating an even bigger gap. So they come here, we drop them here, and then we raise them here. And before it was just a gap like this, and now it's a gap like this. And when you have such a large gap that you have to fill, this person is going to feel internally disturbed so much so to where they have to find a way to close it. They have to find a way to figure it out, regardless of the situation that they're in. I'm so sick and tired of hearing, oh, but it's a money issue. Have you gotten a money objection before? Thank you so much. Have you gotten a money objection before? Oh my God, it's too expensive. Oh, I don't have the money. Oh my God. I can't tell you how many salespeople that I've met, they're like, "Oh, well, this person's just broke," right? Well, how are they spending money on their rent? Or how are they spending money on the Netflix that they're buying or the TV that they're buying or their cell phone or like their kids' things? Like they're finding money somewhere, but other things right now are more important than your service or program or product that you're selling. And they're mine. They'll find the money somewhere. And I'm living proof of that. And I hope that this example helps you because once I went through this, I never listened to a money objection ever again because 3 years ago, I had to restart all the way over. 3 years ago, I am back in Houston before I moved to Miami, and now I moved to Scottsdale, and COVID just hit, and I lost my sales job, and I did so well on my sales job. I had a great base, and I was driving my little Audi TTS, and I thought it was so cool. And, I spent so much money that COVID hit and I had nothing. And I didn't know what to do. I'm stuck in like this really small apartment with my daughter. And I'm like, crap, what am I supposed to do? And there was a program that I was going to buy that was going to teach me how to sell online. It was $12,000. The first down payment was $3,000. And I literally was behind my rent by $756. My rent was only $1,400 at the time. Now it's almost 4 times as much. Dear God. Or not four, almost three and a half. Dear Lord. And at the time, I could barely afford my rent. $756 behind, and I was like, what am I supposed to do? And the lady's like, I need you to give me $3,000 to start this thing. And here's the difference between the sales rep and every other sales reps that I've been a part of. I've been a part of a lot of sales teams. This sales rep knew that I had nothing, and she believed in me to figure it out. She believed in me to be resourceful. And I was like, this isn't my life. Like, I need this. Like, I'm going to figure it out. And she's like, yes, you will. Yes, you will. She believed in me so much. Right. And that next day, over that weekend, I sold every single thing that I owned. I sold my daughter's furniture. I sold my furniture. I slept on the ground, like the hardwood ground. And I sold pots and pans and mirror and my desk, and I sold shoes. I sold my designer bag, the one I've ever had, and I sold perfume, and I sold everything. And I realized that things did not matter that much. Like my future was so much more important. Like what I wanted to create for myself was so much more important. And I raised $4,200 in 36 hours. And I paid for my rent, paid for the program. I packed up every single thing that I owned in a little two-door Audi TTS. And I drove from Houston to Miami and knew nobody. I got an Airbnb room that I think my dad sent me money to get the Airbnb on the way there because I didn't have any more money for it. And I stayed in an Airbnb room that had like cockroaches in it. And I sat there and I studied. I studied. I woke up at 4 a.m., studied every single day. And my first month, I closed a $10,000 client, and I worked my ass off. I was like, every single day I wake up and I would hear the program and I would stop it and I would start writing it down because I didn't know if I was going to have another amount of money to pay for the second payment. So I just wrote down everything word for word. Like I was so obsessed with learning. I was so obsessed. Like part of me wanted it so bad. It was in alignment with my future. I figured it out. I was resourceful. I was willing to do anything. And the reason why is because the salesperson made me feel safe, made me feel at ease, went into problem finding, made me realize that I was living a life that wasn't even mine. Made me so internally disturbed that I was willing to sell every single thing that I owned in order to buy it. She was so good. And you have the same ability. You have the same ability. I teach this to my girls every single day. It doesn't matter what somebody says at a call. Like, if your intentions are in the right place, if you really care about them to get results, if you really want to help them find the real problem and you allow them the space so that they can feel that you're on their side, you'll never feel pushy. You'll never feel like you're product pushing. You'll never feel like you're pressuring this person into closing a deal. You get to stand for this person's possibilities. You get to stand for them. If you're in insurance, right? Like there's so many different fields. There's so many different opportunities here, like even insurance, right? You're standing for this person to be able to make sure that their kids are taken care of. Heaven forbid if anything happened to them. Like you're standing for this person's possibilities, and that like sales is sales, it's sales. I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care, if you think that this training is not for you, because I'm telling you that there's a science and there's a process to all of this, and sales gets to feel natural and it gets to feel the same. It gets to feel super, super good. So any questions, y'all can drop them in the chat, but I wanted to go over that for you guys because I don't know if you realize this, but we just partnered with 7th Level to build NEPQ Red for our elite saleswomen company. And I'm just so grateful and blessed for this opportunity to help more and more women learn this style of sales, because it gets to feel really good. It gets to feel in alignment with your body. If you are wanting to book a call with our team to see if this training would even be a fit for you, just drop in below call, I guess. They didn't tell me what you should say. Or maybe NEPQ Red. Let's do that. NEPQ Red, if you want to book a call with our team to see if this would be appropriate for you. I'm going to write that down. NEPQ Red. This. NEPQ Red, drop that below and we'll make sure that we are helping you book a call with our team to see if this would be appropriate for you. I want to, yeah, it's either this or food for my kids. Okay, so I love that. I love that, Sarah, because I experienced that. And I think that this is the issue, right? Every single objection that somebody has is just fear coming up, right? And if you're in your integrity, it's okay. Like, I know that if I help a woman learn how to make money for her family, this is going to help her in the long run, right? At one point in my life, I didn't know how I was going to give dinner to my daughter. At one point in my life, I sold a pair of hand weights on OfferUp in order to get funds to go buy myself and my daughter some groceries. It's like really anything. So I know what it's like to be in those shoes. So I relate, and I would never ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do. And I would never push anything on anyone that wasn't in alignment with my integrity. If they literally had nothing, and they were in that position, like, I don't know why they'd be on the phone call in the first place. And that's the issue. It's like, why are they there? You have to get curious. Like, what was it for them in order for them to get on a sales call? If they have nothing to feed their kid that night, how are they on a sales call right now? It's because they have hope for something more. And if they have hope for something more, then they're willing to go and figure it out. They're willing to be resourceful if they wanted to, and nobody can make anyone change. And that's the sad truth. Like, I want to pour into people all day long, and some reason, for some reason, most people love to stay comfortable and they don't like to change. They don't like to stretch and grow, and that's why most people stay the same. It sucks because I want to just pour it into everybody, and sometimes I can't. What's up, Jessie? Thanks, babe. Yeah, Jessie's on our program. She's doing great. I honor every woman that's going to be a part of this growing revolution. This is a revolution for women to step into worthiness. My mission is for all women to understand how worthy they are. I really want to go into third world countries and help women and kids escape domestic violence and, sexual trafficking and, human trafficking, and, the situations that are completely horrendous. And I want to, become a voice for those that don't have one. And that's what I think about on the days that I don't want to get up and that I don't want to do anything. And so I have you focus on something that is going to push you further in your life, and not like a why, but something that's so big that it's beyond you, that you are responsible for becoming as successful as possible in order to carry out a mission that's so beyond you that almost scares you. So I honor you. Stay tuned, because I think it's tomorrow, but we are dropping our very first episode of Closing Deals and Heels podcast. It's going to be super epic. I'm so excited for you guys to be able to see it. I go super deep, very vulnerable. My first episode, I actually share my entire story with you guys. So I hope that it resonates with you. If you know any women that it would support and honor and serve, any woman that's going through a rough time, dark time, like please send it to them because I feel like it would be really supportive. Again, drop NABQ Red in the chat if you're wanting to get on a call with our team and seeing if NABQ Red is the answer for you to get a feminine style perspective of sales that's really going to honor you and serve you and help you double and close your deals triple, double, triple, quadruple, in a way that's going to feel really good to you. I honor you. I see you. I serve you. I will see you on Thursday for our next live training. I hope that y'all have an amazing, incredible day. You're super powerful. You're awesome. You're a badass. I got you. I see you. Let's go.